the diversity cost itself. And you may wonder what the hell I'm talking about. There are many costs in diversity as being our strength.
But if we talk about cultural enrichment, it literally has the word rich embedded in it. So it can't cost us anything. It's got to be making us wealthier, right?
Yeah, we won't count our money in gold. We'll count it in... No. So instead, if you want to go and find out what the hell I'm talking about, we start off, of course, with the Labour Party conference, Abridged, day 4 that's come out. I've put up there, which, Dolby is free. Please send help. At the bottom left there. Anyway, but you can see in there some of the costs of diversity, and we shall enjoy some of them on a reality level. We'll start off with, of course, the fact that we have the diversity hire-in-chief in the White House, with the fact being that the modern global American empire has decided their claim that diversity equals strength is going to be tested on a national level. Of course, in the image of the diversity hire here, which was made their spokesman. So that's one example. We also have other examples.
Is this little quote here, is that paraphrasing, or is that word for word what she said?
That is what she said.
So, pointing out that...
For people listening, the diversity hire here says that MAGA Republicans are racist. The reason she gives is that one of the Republican senators said that black people commit crimes. As we know...
That's racist.
No black person has ever committed a single crime in all of human history, so that's pretty racist of that senator. But that's the kind of level you're paying for.
And that's right.
When you get a diversity hire, that is right. And if we go forward, we can see more of this. We can see a politician in some election was referred to as a white man. The speaker said the next mayoral candidate will either be an African-American woman or a white man, as if it was disgusting. So
and then he's like, actually, I'm Latinx.
I'm Italian.
Italians confirm not white.
Beauty, indeed. And of course we have Miss Diversity Hire herself, which we've mentioned before. This is the run-of-the-mill things, which we see in the United States. If we go to the next link here, please, you can see Diversity Hire herself, telling us about the impact of diversity hiring, making the world better. If you scroll back up to the title, it's just hilarious. And just like the potential impact on getting rid of diversity hiring would be terrible, to say the least. Except, no, because all of these examples are examples of failure of competence, and instead the promotion of diversity just equals strength. Why? Because I said so. And, well, we have some good news, which is that this coming, we will actually start to see the moving of the fact that this will be criminalised. Because if we go to the next link here, this is an article from a while ago telling us that the 31st of October is when the Supreme Court start hearing their case about criminalising diversity hiring. Remember, I was very hyped about this when she was made a Supreme Court judge.
Oh, they're repealing the Civil Rights Act, finally.
Yeah, they're in the... well, not the Civil Rights Act, but the idea that you could just hire someone because they're black.
And that was part of the Civil Rights Act, so...
There you have it. With the idea that it's good to have diversity. Why? Because it said so. Not competence, instead just diversity of skin tone. Right. Cool. So they're actually hearing that case. Currently, Apple, General Electric, and Google are sponsoring, trying to make sure it continues to remain legal. That being racial discrimination. Cool. Very cool, Google. Even Vox knows that this whole state of affairs is ridiculous, as this graphic shows from their own website. Which you can see here, we have the white applicants' average score being the base. And what does diversity hiring do to that for applicants at university? Before
you've even done anything, you automatically get a 130-point bonus if you're Hispanic.
Yes, a 310-point bonus if you are black, and a 140-point negative against you if you are Asian.
Right, okay, just flip this around, and all of a sudden...
That would be racism.
You have a certain hierarchy being presented.
Yeah, and there are a lot of memes about this state of affairs that we occupy in the West, and the fact that this is obviously immoral, obviously unjust, but we live with it because God bless our minorities. We live in a minoritarian society.
I'm not even going to appeal to morality. I'm just going to say this is stupid.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
It's just dumb on the face as well. It's absolutely true. There's a lot of memes that get shared about this. We go to the next one here. We can see one of these memes that pops about. Don't know if you've ever seen this before. It's an image of a white girl saying, blaming her for slavery, and then an image of an Asian girl is like blaming her for Pearl Harbor. Well, that would be true. However, what has the West decided to do? We're going to
blame her for slavery?
Yeah, the Asian girl is also...
Oh, she's blamed for slavery as well. Wait, does that mean the white girl's Pearl Harbor's fault?
No, both of them are blamed for slavery.
Okay.
You remember that the Asians got knocked down in the rankings and the blacks and Hispanics got knocked up. So both of them...
Well, I mean, I saw in the graph that they got knocked down in the rankings.
So both of them are actually paid for slavery. Sorry, gals, but too bad. You were born the wrong race. Better luck next time. And next time, you might want to be born a certain race. The one that was getting the most leg up there. This is something that popped up.
The most oppressed race, you mean?
Yeah, the most oppressed race, which gets the most advantages in our modern society. These people, they have to be rewarded for slavery. This is a sentence I didn't think I'd utter, but this is what is really happening. And you can see here, this is someone saying it feels good to be a gangster with a series of images of just, if you just check up people who are doing pretty well in our minoritarian society. We have a YouTuber known by Law School Blueprint.
Flaunting her ignorance.
She posted a video here.
Quite literally.
Getting accepted into law school with a low LSAT and GPA full tuition scholarship. Just some advice about how to do it. We'll get into the advice about how she did that in a minute.
So I'm a retard, but I made it anyway, guys. There's hope.
There's another lady of a completely different background who comes in here and says that, well, she got C in chemistry, got put out of honours programme on a technicality, barely did any research. This is her writing this. Didn't shadow. Grade point average was good but could have been better. Professors wouldn't give me the time of day. Mediocre MCAT. Applied the very last day. Told I wouldn't even get into med school, and then currently an MS3. She's studying to be a practice of medicine person.
Hearts and minds.
Yeah.
Hearts and minds, they've won me over.
But when it comes back to the law school stuff is even funnier. Because if you just look on YouTube, getting accepted into law school with a low LSAT, if you go back, please, then we can actually say it, which is that there's a lot of YouTube videos that come up telling you about how to get in school if you have low grades.
Is it bad and racist of me to notice a certain pattern?
What was our pattern?
They're all idiots.
It indeed is. That is the only pattern whatsoever. So we shall take a look at the examples given of why these people failed and their reason as to why. We have the lady from earlier, who you may remember. Top comments on this video, in case you're wondering. You literally have to have a pulse and apply as a black person to get in. Dope. Top comment.
I mean, people can read between the lines. They know what's going on. People, unlike this woman, people aren't stupid.
Dislike disabled by owner. Yeah, just noticed that.
Yeah.
Wait,
does it actually state that now as well? It just gives you a nice little flashing warning, disabled by owner.
Yeah, they don't want you proving this. The next top comment that I saw was, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Them. It's not going to go well, because she insists in the comments, though, to be fair to her, she is not a diversity hire, she tells you. I'm a full-grown adult, I've made it myself. She says, for clarification, I did not receive a diversity scholarship.
I don't know how you're going to convince anybody of that, but...
For those of you who don't know what the difference might be, so the universities have diversity scholarships they hand out for people with certain skin tones and backgrounds, which is illegal, but okay. They have that. And then you have the other scholarships, etc., letting people in, which they do on a per-person basis and totally don't fudge the numbers so they get certain kinds of people in. Trust us, bro. That would be illegal.
I thought there was, like, diversity scholarships and then, in the language of the left, neurodiversity scholarships.
There probably is those two. However, this individual insisting that she didn't get a diversity scholarship does actually tell us what happened, because you just watch a video and she says this in the middle of it. Let's play.
So, for those who will be applying with a low GPA and a low LSAT like myself, you need to put your all into your personal and diversity statement. You have to make the committee want you.
Cool. Thanks for saying it out loud.
Unless she's saying put effort into something?
Yeah, put it into the diversity statement, part of your application, because the rest of it didn't go so well. And the argument being that, well, you may not get a diversity scholarship, but there's always numbers to be made. There is always the equity to be found in the people in your university, if you're the admissions staff. And in which case, even if someone got a low score, probably doesn't deserve to be at the law school, she's black and a woman. Just like the Supreme Court judge.
You're trying to deny these people the right to be in jobs they're vastly underqualified for?
Yeah.
That's not very hippin' and hoppin' of you.
Oh, too bad. This is not the way the modern American empire works, or any of the West. I don't know which term to use at this point, because it is such a meme. I mean, this stuff did pop up over in the United States the hardest, and has spread so far to us quite hard as well. And you can see here just an example of an individual who, well, didn't do too well, but is being propped up by her own admission because she did her all into her diversity statement. And as we know, given the previous examples of what is happening in the United States, probably made it through on those characteristics, along with all of her peers in society. Remember, representation matters, which is why we have diversity hires in the Supreme Court, at the White House, well, at every university on
And
campus.
everything's been going so much better since we introduced them to those places.
Yeah. There was another comment on here I have to read, which is someone commented on that video. I mean, it's only law school, but imagine being operated by a diversity doctor. Future does look bright.
Not for the patient.
No. You may remember there was a diversity doctor earlier, and she's still about, apparently. I believe this is her, which is her Instagram account here. Same name, which she has some video on some black women saying that black women deserve everything, which is
I really,
okay. And
there is something infuriating just about the attitude that is given off by these people. It's just, if I look at you in the camera in nice black and white filter with really stern, judgmental eyes, I get what I want. And the sad thing is that that's true.
well, it works.
It's awful.
She writes in here, that doc is still around, insisting, quote, we deserve it on every level.
No, you
Hashtag
don't.
equity, hashtag health equity, hashtag job equity.
No, you
Which,
don't.
Yeah,
You
well,
deserve nothing.
well, you deserve what you are capable of, and
You get what you deserve.
well, you should, and you're not. At least, well, that's one example you might say, maybe two examples. But let's go to the next example, in which there's another one of these videos that we went through earlier. We had a look at the thumbnails. No patterns. Anyway, she says in here that how I got 142 got me into law school. 142 being a pretty bad score. A low score is 120, high score 180. So, it's, again, not good. And this is an individual who does interviews. And she interviewed a lady who got a 142, which is not good. Again, no patterns to be found. How did they get in? Well, they openly admit that the universities bend the laws to achieve their ideological objectives. Let's listen to this.
So it is geared towards underrepresented students. Obviously, they're not going to say on there, like, you know, like only minority students apply or anything like that. So we did have like non-minority people there. We had like 2 or 3, but for the most part, like, you know, you'll see minority students. That's what it's supposed to be geared towards, you know?
Don't know about you. That makes me furious.
I mean, literally saying the quiet part out loud there. You know, it doesn't say on the applications that they're only going to go for these, but we all know that they will. All right, okay, so life isn't fair for us now.
If you're a man or white or Asian, too bad.
And if you do have any grievances with that and feel bad about it or feel that life has been stacked against you, then I guess that you're just a horrible racist.
I'm really mad because this is the norm, and to get it in such a number of examples really illustrates how bad and infected our societies are with this ideological objectives that we will literally destroy all competence in favor of diversity being our strength. Because if we say it enough, it will become true. Trust me, comrade.
I mean, what's most infuriating to me about this is that they feel just completely vindicated in literally flaunting this. Mm-hmm. It's like rubbing it in our faces.
I don't even hold it against the applicants here. I mean, these young girls...
I mean, they're just working with the incentives given to them.
Remember back to that image of the little white, white toddler and the Asian toddler? And then, I don't know, you'd add in little black toddlers as well. None of these people have any reference point of anything to do with slavery. Not in the slightest. And we're doing all this to ourselves because we've just fantasized in our heads that we need to make up for something in the past. Why? By punishing that little white girl, the little Asian girl, and promoting these...
I mean, if we're going by just general racial generalizations here, does that mean I can just blame any of these people for the Rwandan genocide? I mean, if we're just going to be, like, blanket like that, you know... That
did actually almost happen once.
Really?
There was the UN... What was it, Council of Racism or some crap like that? It was a terrible name.
Are they the most racist council?
Yes. They would host a conference every 10 years to talk about racism, and it started off in the 70s being like, South Africa, apartheid, pretty bad. And everyone's delegation turned up and went, yeah, pretty bad. South Africa, sort yourself out. Anyway, another good day at the UN. See you next year.
Yep, there you go.
Then they got to 2000.
Typical UN business.
Yeah, they got to 2001, and there was a conference in which the Rwandan delegation demanded reparations from the United States for the Rwandan genocide.
This is your man holding machete over body of black person. This is America's fault. Why would you do this?
Yes, the Tutus who were killing all the Tutsis, or whichever round, who even cares?
I think it's the Hutus or something.
Were demanding that the Yankees pay for the whole thing. Which is, machetes don't grow on trees.
Imagining the Rwandan politicians that, like, we're going to kill the Tutsis and America's going to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, racial grievance politics is a hell of a dead end, and when it gets to the UN, it gets almost comical. But back on the ground of where we are in the Anglosphere, there are more examples. This one is probably the funniest of one of these YouTube videos. This is a lady who literally has diversity written on her chest. That's not a euphemism. If we can get up the next video, just not play it yet, but just to show people the image.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, literally has diversity written on her chest.
Was this part of the university mandate? Did they say like, well, we're not going to give you like a little badge or anything? That would be offensive. But if you could just wear this sweatshirt,
maybe not an armband, but I'd never thought of it like that. But that is actually what is happening.
It's amazing. Oh, and she's got a Nike hat on, repping.
You know those American comedians who will go to American campuses and like wave ISIS flag and then the Israeli flag to make a point that there's a discrepancy in how people treat those two.
Oh yeah.
RV Yemeni did that, I believe. One of those guys should really set up a diversity stand, just selling out diversity T-shirts and just see how long it takes.
And you can get these diversity wristbands, a diversity badge.
Anyway, so we have the lady here wearing her armband, and she decides to give us some quick tips on how to get into American university. What are they? Be born a black woman. It's a good tip. Let's play.
You took the LSAT more than once. Maybe this is your second time or your third time, and you did not get the score you want. Do not let that stop you from applying to law school. Like, I know you want to have a great score, but guess what? Like I said, you can still get into law school with your median low score. And you just don't know what the admissions committee is going to accept that year. Like I said in a previous video, they have so many criteria that they're trying to meet. They're trying to meet a female to male ratio or get more minorities in their programs. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my tips.
That's it. Just be a black woman. I should have tried that. If only I'd tried when I was still in the womb and they had the Fallout character creator.
I put all my stats into being a white man, and I was like, damn, I didn't think this through.
I mean, the most
restart the run.
New save, new game. The worst part about all this, as always, is that these people. This does not happen in a vacuum. These people will be going out into American life, into the legal system.
They'd rather represent you.
Yeah, they might be representing you, or, more likely, they might be representing the person that assaulted you and getting them a lower sentence, or even just getting them off in general. Then they might go on to have influential political careers in the state level, and then they might even get, I know this is going to sound hard to believe, but they might even get hired for the Supreme Court purely off the basis of their sex and race.
Yeah.
Could you imagine such a world? And because of the fact that they know that they were able to get certain privileges through institutional bias.
By picking the correct Fallout.
Yes, by picking the correct stats at birth. They know that they can enact similar changes to help other people. It's quite sad, I would say, because this is not a fair and just society.
I can't get over your stigmatization there, Harry. The people who are picked solely on, well, political identities would end up becoming some kind of rabid leftist who would be at the Supreme Court.
Well, I am a proud bigot.
None of these ladies would ever, join on with the BLM crowd, I'm sure. Next video, please. There we have it. Same account. Quick trip down Black Lives Matter Plaza, showing off the glories of defund the police.
Celebrating the newest civil religion.
Again, this is just a handful of ladies who happen to have been going to law school and have happened to have been also trying to run YouTube channels telling you that, well, if you were just a black woman, you'd do better. Which, that's a very small proportion of the people who are getting away with this kind of institutional robbery, frankly. The amount of people that must be benefiting from the way this entire civilization is run at this point on the basis that you are the right characteristics.
Oh, it's a hell of a grift.
It must be in the almost millions, frankly. Okay, this is how the world is run.
Tens of millions.
Fantastic. If we have the next one here, there are endless other examples of individuals. This lady here decides to tell us that she got like a 141 or something in her LSAT. Still got in.
The visuals trying to make it seem so composed and so high class. That's right. I'm a moron.
This one's a bit weird, actually. I wonder if you mute the audio first, John, just to make sure we don't get copyright play. Just play the play button from the timestamp, because it's clearly like just hit play. Like it's the fact that like someone else has clearly made this for her as well. You can see her there at CNN and MSNBC's headlines.
Maybe the university made this for her.
Maybe it's just weird. We can pause it there.
Advertise. That's right. You black, you win.
You can pause it. It's just the fact that it's strange how some of these seem to also have been paid for, to say the least. And
only 130 views though.
Yeah, they got a 141 or something. Completely failed, but somehow fell upwards into law school. 7 subscribers.
7 subscribers.
If you go to her...
How do you find these things, Callum?
This is the thing. This is what I mean. Like, this is the stuff that you never think to look about because it's like 130 views. Like, who's going to notice, right?
Yeah.
But there are endless number of these kinds of channels. And then you think, those are the only students making YouTube channels. Most students don't make YouTube channels.
Most students don't feel the need to advertise their stupidity.
No. And this individual, again, we have here a playlist on their account called Racial Justice. The 2 of the videos were deleted, which I can't tell what those were. I'm sure they were very wholesome. The other one just being like a song from some singer, which Beyonce, there we are. God, I don't know anything about pop culture. Anyway, moving to the next one, because we have more of that, and we have another individual. Bucking the trend, I'm sure. We have someone here telling us how to get into law school with a low LSAT.
Callum, are you saying that she might be breaking the book?
What?
Book breaking?
Oh, God. Oh, no, I didn't get
God's sake.
Didn't get the reference. Anyway, no, that happened to the men. As brother Tariq has told us. Anyway, people who don't get that reference, look at Tariq Nasheed's bug breaking. It's gold. But she got in with it. I believe she said about 150 or something. So again, trash, but just gets in. And so their future is bright. It will never end. Because if we go to the Canadian Justice Department, well, they're hiring. Who are they hiring? Well, what do you know? It's people. If you scroll down on here, we can see cracking the code here, as they call it, which will limit screening of applicants to Indigenous peoples, members of racialized groups. Don't know what that means. Persons with a disability. So black people are equal to disabled.
Wait. So we've been racialized. You know, back in the 90s, there were lots of I will say very naive white people wwho thought they could just get along and be colorblind and such. And since then, we've been racialized. So we've
been racialized as evil. For being
Gibbs,
white.
where is it? Gibbs.
If that's what you mean. But it's also equity-seeking groups. Don't know what that means either. So if you want to commit crime, do it in Canada, I guess. More advice.
I mean, the government's been getting away with it over there for a while. So.
No, but their lawyers are literally all diversity hires as well, so there you have that. But the UK is no better. We decided to splunge more money on all of this. Here we have Whitehall's £300,000 woke splurge, as Guido rightly reports. The Home Office is searching for a new Deputy Director of Diversity and Inclusion Reform, responsible for directing and shaping the existing team comprising around 20 staff. Yeah, that's 20, not 2. Chosen candidate will be paid 85 grand. Those 20 staff, I'm sure, will be paid as well. The UK Health Security Agency needs a senior diversity and inclusion advisor, expected to deliver inclusive recruitment training. Let's talk about race sessions. So struggle sessions, corporate induction, and presenting on other new and emerging topics. It's a pretty decent job. You can get 20.
So conservative.
You get 46 grand for that. The government's internal audit agency also needs a diversity and inclusion and belonging advisor to audit people for tax fraud.
Should we all apply for these?
53 grand for that one. I think yes, Harry.
I think we should. I mean that's a nice pay rise right there. I could do with the money.
Could do with some moonlighting. The House of Lords needs both a head of diversity and inclusion and an inclusion and diversity manager. Don't know what the difference is. Where the pair will somehow help us attract, retain, and develop our skilled workforce in the House of Lords. You're literally picked by the Prime Minister, but all right. By understanding inclusion and diversity, 66 grand for the first one. And 32 grand for the other one, respectively. Even Her Majesty's Prison Service, His Majesty's Prison Service.
Oh, yep.
And Probation Service is in need of 2 diversity inclusion managers. 1 wasn't enough. For some reason, they do need to make the prison service more diverse and inclusive.
I think the diversity do enough of that on their own, don't they?
Yeah, I think the Muslim overrepresentation is...
I'm sure the prisons are plenty diverse.
Maybe they need to get more Buddhists in. I don't know if you've seen the numbers on the Buddhists.
Maybe the Hindus...
Yeah, also vastly underrepresented in the prisons.
I mean, Leicester, come on, that's a ripe for diversity targets right there.
So those 2 Muppets, they're going to be paid 38 grand each to try and get more Hindus in the prisons, presumably. Finally, the Department of Work and Pensions are also looking for a diversity and inclusion manager, assurance, governance, and evaluation work strand lead. What does that mean? What is that job? That's just a bunch of corporate words put together. I don't.
That job summed up is just bollocks.
If you think you're the person to deliver significant results within the Department of Work and Pensions diversity inclusion agenda, I'm glad they've taken Hugo's advice and using that term, you can apply and earn up to £41,000, £480 for that one. So in total, that's about 335 grand per year just on those listings, which have come up the other day, 11th of October. Those went live for those ones.
Well, the most I can, rationalize this as not being awful is that given current projections of inflation, that'll be the price of a Tesco meal deal soon enough, so won't matter.
We can only hope. Anyway, but then we go to the NHS, which, just to end this off, the cost is immense. All of these things not only cost you all of your competence of your entire civilization, but also all of your money. As you can see here, the NHS spends 40 million British pounds a year on 800 diversity commissars, as furious campaigners argue that the money could actually hire 1,200 nurses. But 800 commissars, nurses? I'd rather have the commissars, thank you very much, says the Conservative Party in charge. Fantastic. Anyway, there we are. There's the cost of diversity, which ain't small, to say the least. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the ebook series, this episode on William the Conqueror Part 4. If you want to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.